Standing in the wake of this train wreck, my heart is beating faster in my chest. This depression terrifies me. When I'm awake, it's like these thoughts, they paralyze me. I don't wanna feel like this. I don't wanna feel like this. Time stops, weightless and cold. Silence burns like fire while my fears unfold. There's panic. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drained of air, life feels unfair without you. Come back to me, don't leave me to dream about you, dream about you, dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? Without you. What is left to say when the sky falls? I'm staring at your ghost in the stars. There's not a day that I don't miss you. The feeling swelling overflow, it's like I see you, hear you. I don't wanna feel like this. Why do I still feel like this? Heart ripped out of my brain. I sit here talking to myself. I think I'm going insane. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drained of air, life feels unfair without you. Come back to me, don't leave me to dream about you, dream about you, dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? The only way to fix this, the only way to fix this pain inside, the only way to fix this is a deep breath in as you say
I kick ass for the Lord.
What about me?
I never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic.
Sydney with his butt.
Can't see it from here.
What about the panty?
What about the panty? What's up, Butters?
Sorry, baby. I tried the best I could. Honest. Can't come with me on this trip. Getting the shakes now. Last call for drinks. Bars closing down. Sun's out. Where are we going for breakfast? Don't want to go far. Rough night. Tired, baby. Tired.
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome in to 52/1993, the live movie conversation podcast where we discuss movies from the year 1993. I am your host, Cody, and I'm joined by my co-host who's not on the screen, Joseph. I don't know if he knows that, but
Oh yeah. Sorry. I just have one quick question before we kick things off.
oh my gosh, what is this?
What's your favorite scary movie?
It's definitely Carlito's way. That is This is already off the rails. I love it. If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We're so happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up. Basically, what we do is we watch movies from the year 1993, important movies released this year by weekend releases. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad or somewhere in the middle, but usually I'll have a guest host here to talk about them and discuss our favorite parts of the movie if we have any, which I'm sure we will. But welcome in, Joseph. I'm glad to have you.
Thank
Who
you.
was that on your
I don't know. I think we might have had a hacker or something drop in here.
oh my gosh. We have to wait 3 more years to do Scream, so
Just some guest appearances to start off.
yeah,
Al
Ghostface.
Pacino,
I mean,
Ghostface.
yeah, it's October. Why not? We should be doing some Halloween movies, but we're not because all of the horror movies came out in January or February of this year.
Yeah.
So dumb. Or July even. But thanks for being here. I think this is a movie that both you and I have not seen. Yeah, first time watch for me as
First
well. What do you think, man? Give me the rundown.
It was quite good.
Yeah?
Brian De Palma, I feel like, is kind of like hit or miss. There's always some good stuff in him, I think, but this one was a pretty big hit, I think.
Yeah, I think I feel the same with Brian De Palma. If you don't know who Brian De Palma is, he's done movies like Carrie, Scarface, the first Mission Impossible movie. I know I'm missing Blowout, or is Blowout a De Palma film? I think it is, but Ryan's in chat. He'll let me know if I'm wrong. But anyway, there's always like it's very stylized in like he does some like camera movements and it makes it feel very frenetic and uneasy. A couple times that it does it in this movie. I particularly the bar scene, when he's doing the pool scene, like the shooting pool scene. I think there's a little bit there, and then especially at the end of the movie, with that train, the train station sequence too is very De Palma-esque. Also, one thing I do want to point out with De Palma, and I kept noticing this, and I wonder if you noticed it too, is like the acting in the background is always insane. Like it would pull, like, I don't know if this is on purpose, because it did pull me out of what was going on, but main characters would be talking and somebody's in the background doing something crazy. And it would pull me away from it a little bit. And I don't know what it is about De Palma, but that's something that I noticed. Maybe you didn't notice in this, but
I definitely at the pool party for sure.
The pool party for sure. There is one club scene, and I encourage anybody to go back. I think it's the first club scene that we get in this movie. As the camera is going up the stairs, there is a person. It always made me think of lizards drinking out of cups, where there's little kids in the background going fucking crazy. There is a woman at the top of the stairs going crazy.
Dancing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
She was, and then she like disappears like a ghost. So I don't know, but anyway, let me go.
Extra's going hard, you know.
She was going hard. It's probably cocaine. There was a lot of cocaine in this. So, all right, we've talked about it a little bit, but I'll go through my little spiel introducing the movie. And then we can talk more about it. So, this week's movie, if you didn't already know, is called Carlito's Way. It came out on November 12th, 1993. It was directed by Brian De Palma. It was written by David Koepp, who is a famous screenwriter, and we've already talked about him once this year. He wrote the screenplay for Jurassic Park. So he's really good at adapting novels, because this was based on a couple novels by Edwin Torres. It was based mostly on the novel called After Hours, but there was already a movie by Scorsese called After Hours, so they went with the earlier title name, which is Carlito's Way. I think it's fine. It works.
After Hours too.
Yeah, After Hours.
More After Hours. Later. I don't know.
Carlito.
The afterest hours.
The cast of this movie stars Al Pacino in the lead role as Carlito Brigante, Sean Penn as David Kleinfeld, Penelope Ann Miller as Gail, John Leguizamo as Benny Blanco from the Bronx, Luis Guzman, also a Greendale Community College alumni,
Yes,
as Pachanga, James Rebhorn as District Attorney Bill Norwalk. Viggo Mortensen's in this in a weird role as Lauren Miasso. And Adrian, one thing I wanted to bring up just for you, Joseph, because you're probably going to be the only one that knows this. And if anybody else knows this, good for you. But Adrian Pasdar, who is Nathan Petrelli from Heroes, plays Frankie Taglialucci, the son on the boat. Yeah, that's Nathan Petrelli.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Save the world.
All right. So the synopsis that Google gives us of this movie is: a free man after years in prison, Carlito Brigante intends to give up his criminal ways, but it's not long before the ex-con is sucked back into the New York City underworld. Reconnecting with his dancer girlfriend, Gail, Carlito gets entangled in the shady dealings of his friend, Dave Kleinfeld, who also serves as his lawyer. When Carlito and Kleinfeld run afoul of shifty gangster Benny Blanco, it sets them on a dangerous path. It's a misleading last line there.
Dangerous path?
Just they don't mess with Benny Blanco. Like, they mess with Benny Blanco, but that's like not the... It's whatever.
That's more of like a hint at a spoiler than anything.
Yeah, I agree. Benny Blanco is... Benny Blanco is the gun on the mantle. You know, you set up. It's very. What am I even thinking of? Who is that guy? Who's that? Who's that playwright that everybody references when you put a loaded gun on the mantle in the first act? It's sure to go off in the third act.
Yeah, I don't know the name. I know exactly what you're
Chat's
talking about.
way smarter than me. Come on, Chat.
Ryan will do it.
Chekhov. Thank you. Thank you.
Chekhov.
Yeah, Benny Blanco is Chekhov's gun. So,
yeah. Thanks,
this
guys.
movie had a budget of $30 million, and it had a box office return of $64 million. Rotten Tomatoes has this scored at an 82%, certified fresh. IMDb has this at 7.9. Couple reviews for you. Roger Ebert loved this movie. Said Carlito's Way, like Scarface, is first and last a character study, a portrait of a man who wants to be better than he is. In Scarface, the hero's ambition led only to power, lust, and greed. Here, something more complicated is taking place. Carlito has grown enough to see himself from the outside, to understand some of the mistakes he made, to plot a way to escape from what seems like the inevitable fate of people in his position. He gave this 3.5 stars out of 4. So he liked it. And then here is a review from Hal Henson from the Washington Post about about halfway through, the overwhelming fact that the movie is a complete nothing becomes too much to ignore.
Movie's complete nothing, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was a harsh
Big time.
harsh review. There was another one like that I wanted to use, but that one, just saying it's a complete nothing, was mind-blowing to me. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
This is wild. Anyway, this movie got a couple Golden Globe nominations for Sean Penn and Penelope Ann Miller. Other than that, that is, kind of the where it lived. I think it got a direct to DVD release for a prequel to this, mainly on the Carlito's Way. And that was panned. It wasn't very good, but it probably actually had some Puerto Rican actors in there. So, as opposed to, to some of this.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Vigo,
Vigo, he's my favorite. What a bizarre acting gig.
It's
for him.
crazy.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about it. What are some of the scenes that really stuck out to us? I've got man, there are a lot in here. Trying to nail this down to 4 or 5, and this movie is really hard.
Yeah, it was a little bit tricky.
Because I think I combined 4 scenes on one of my lines here. I've got a lot. So go ahead. You start. You start us out.
I do want to say I'm not really counting this, but the opening credits was really awesome, the black and white sequence.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool
with the voiceover and everything.
I'm not really huge on voiceovers typically, but I thought it worked pretty well here, and pretty strong start. Also not a huge fan of the show the end of the movie trope at the beginning, but I think it worked relatively well here as well.
I think I agree with you as well. I liked it. Even I am not a voiceover guy either, honestly. And this voiceover in the movie really got to me a couple times because Pacino's accent is way worse in voiceover than it is in the movie. It just I couldn't keep up. But no, I agree with you. I think it actually does work in this one, and it presents the ending, and I don't know. I felt a lot more hopeful even having seen this ending at the beginning of the movie than by the end of the movie, where I was like, oh, this is where it's going.
Yeah. You were kind of hoping for one of those oh, it's kind of misleading what's happening and it's going to take a turn after we get back to Anyways.
Yeah.
So I love that, but I'm not counting that as really as a scene, at least right now. So my first one is the ride along with John Ortiz in the pool hall.
Cousin Guajiro.
I think is right.
Guajiro.
Yeah.
I had I did put in on this a tale at the beginning of this, where Carlito's getting out of jail and him putting on that spectacle in the courtroom. I had that as a little bit onto this, but my first scene is this drug deal gone wrong. So
yeah, the grandstanding was kind of fun with the judge.
Yeah, and he gets out and he's still he's on the steps saying "free at last, free at last." I loved that. So
it was fun. It was a great introduction to. I felt like both characters there, Carlito and Dave.
Yeah,
it was you get a pretty good sense of who they both are.
I do think in that scene, though, that I have this feeling. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I had this feeling that Carlito's grandstanding and just being that big character, he was just going to go back to his ways. It just felt
it was fake.
It was fake. And then I felt like Dave was the good guy. Hey, I got you out of prison, and because of all this stuff, I'm a good lawyer, and didn't seem as sleazy as Dave gets.
Yeah, he definitely has a rough path after that point. It does kind of flip flop pretty quickly. As soon as they get out of the courtroom, you're oh, okay. Maybe.
He's no, I'm serious. I'm done with all this stuff. So
and he's come on.
Yeah, that hair. Okay, go ahead. Talk about the drug deal and the ride along.
So like you're mentioning, he's saying he's done with the life. He's trying to get out. He wants to rent cars. Is going to be his new thing. He's just got to get some startup cash. But his young cousin wants him to ride with him to this deal because he's a notorious badass from the old days. So kind of wants to flex oh, look who I brought, all this, all that. But obviously it takes a turn very quickly. I feel like this scene is really good about putting you right there with Carlito, feeling things out and like feeling things are wrong and like his like I don't remember a lot of like inner monologue being announced. It felt kind of like we were just like experiencing with the camera shots, like,
Yeah.
oh, this little door is cracked in the back, and that's like giving him the heebie-jeebies, and then like, oh, the dude is like acting really weird with his cousin over there, and so like he immediately goes into like, all right, I need an exit plan mode, and it's really awesome, like the way it's kind of
I
constructed.
love the way he sets it up. It's like
Yeah,
a
the trick
mouse
shot.
it is the mouse shot, the
It's
trick
so cool.
shot. Like the fact that he's using the guy's sunglasses to see what's going on behind. Like I love that.
He's a badass.
Yeah, that was incredible. And this is also where we get the Carlito's Way, the cover on Carlito's Way, you know, the VHS or the poster or whatever it is. Where he's trapped in the bathroom and just screaming at them. One Wick is great.
Screaming at a bunch of dead people.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I guess he didn't know that they were all dead.
Here comes the pain.
Yeah, so that was like my first like, and maybe my favorite scene of the whole movie. It was just really, really heightened the way it was like built up to that like climatic moment of like shit taking a turn.
Yeah.
And
His
RIP.
Yeah.
Where he wrote.
Yeah, seriously, just gets. I thought he was going to get shot too. No, this guy just comes in, rolls up behind him, slices his throat, just gets it. But also, how dumb is this cousin? Like super dumb, right? Because he's like, "Hey, it's in the bottom. The beer's at the bottom of this thing. There's no beer in the bottom.
Looking.
Keep looking, bro. There's nothing in the bottom."
He wasn't cut out for the life, man. Like
He was
your
not.
alarm bells should be ring a ding ding at that point. Like,
And were those two guys dead? The two, like, or were they just? They were dead,
Like-
right?
which guys?
Okay, there were two guys
The
that were
full 10 guys?
alive while he was in the bathroom before he comes out.
Oh, that were like shot but not dead.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I just assumed they were like bleeding out.
yeah. I think they died, but
Basically
like
incapacitated.
you think, like even the way that they look at each other at one point, and I think they just realized that they're dead. But
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be
Yeah,
something
that
bigger
makes
than that, and he just goes out of the bathroom with
And
no
it's all
bullets.
done.
So yeah, I like that. Yeah, that scene. I don't. It's not my favorite in the movie, but I do love that scene very much. So, what's your next one?
Let's see. A lot happens. But I think the next one for me is kind of like the reunion with Gail.
Okay.
Like when
So, I did the first club scene
first club scene.
with and like him going and meeting what is his name?
The
Not
dude
Ron.
that
Not Ron.
oh
I
yeah.
love-
Later, Ron. Sasso.
Sasso, yeah,
Yeah,
Sasso.
something like that.
And he buys it from Sasso and tells him that he's got the money because
Basically.
and also I think that's when we get Benny Blanco,
Yep.
the
Yeah, that's
initial
true.
one. So that's really good. Is this the Ron scene or is that later in the?
I can't remember when he's like, "Nah, I'm Ron."
I'm not talking to Ron. Ron's not here anymore. I'm talking to Sasso. When I learned more about that scene, or learned more about Sasso, I was like, okay, this all makes sense here.
Makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saw that
Guy,
too.
guy can't even speak English. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got that, and then I honestly, when I was doing my listing, I just put Benny Blanco club scenes as one, and then I have like Gale, 3 scenes of Gale that I love, and then
Yeah.
I've got all this stuff. But I love Gale, so you go talk about Gale.
Well, yeah, it was kind of stalkery at first. Like he's like creeping on her, trying to figure out where she is and stuff, like out in the rain under a garbage can lid while she's in dance class. So you weren't really sure like the intentions at first. But then it kind of turned into like, still just checking up on you, kind of crazy about you still, want to see you after 5 years. So
I love it because in that when he actually finally says something to her as she exits, she like turns around quickly and says, "Charlie." Like I like
after
that
she
she's
finally
the
realized,
yeah. I like that she's the only one that calls him Charlie in the movie, and I don't know. I really liked it, but you could tell she was in love with this guy. So
yeah.
I also, whenever he puts the garbage can lid over his head, all I could think of is that's just going to collect water and get really heavy. That's
Yeah,
all
and
I
he's
could
just
think
one
of.
arm in it. Like
He's
at
just
least
like,
hold it upside down, like
yeah,
where it's flowing off instead of collecting. It's
yeah.
like,
No, I love, I like that scene with Gail, but she gets kind of like dismissed, right? Or he gets kind of dismissed, like, "Hey, surprise me again sometime."
yeah, it was like I think he asked for her number, and she was like, "No, I'll call you." So it was kind of like still like, I don't know if I want to jump back into this kind of thing. But that you could tell like chemistry was there, like
Yeah,
the sparks were on both sides, and she was maybe just like playing a little hard to get or something. I don't know, or just uncertain.
yeah. The Ryan in chat says that them hashing things out in the diner was great writing and great acting. Truly, I agree. Like, I think Penelope Ann Miller did a great job. I think when Pacino's not focusing on his accent, he's doing some great act. Like, that guy just kills it.
Yeah, poor
Sometimes
guy.
though. I don't know what he was doing. It's okay. It's all right.
It's the 90s.
What do you have next?
Let's see. After that, I think I had the like the Vigo scene as like my next scene where kind of a lot is happening between like scenes there, but that was kind of like the focal point of the scene. I feel like,
And I
or
think
the
that one
sequence.
goes into the second Benny Blanco scene too, right? Or no,
Um,
that's before that. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of it.
yeah, a little bit earlier, but like that kind of epitomizes that the DA guy is like still like keeping tabs and like checking up on him and thinking like he's getting back into the life and kind of has this like vendetta for him
Yeah,
um for getting away or getting out of prison. So we get that like mainly through Vigo's
Lawlin,
Lalin, I don't know. Something we get his like character showing up with a wire and like doing a pretty terrible job of like
Lawlin.
trying to get some stuff on. Uh,
He's supposed to be he's supposed to be Hispanic, right?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely facial hair, accent, like yeah, supposed to be.
He's also in a wheelchair. We're supposed to, Vigo's this like cool guy that everybody likes. He gets all the ladies he likes, and somehow he ended up in the wheelchair, getting shot in the back. That's what it was.
Yeah, and was also supposed to be in for 30 years, but he's just like, oh, I beat it, man. Like I got connected with some smart guys like you did. It's like, oh, okay, sure.
Vigo.
Yeah, he like called him out immediately. It was like, nah, bro. Grabs the wire and all that. Is like,
Yeah.
get out of
He-
here, you know.
No, he did not get killed, Spencer. In the movie, I'm pretty sure we don't see him. He's begging for it. He's like, kill me, please.
Yeah.
I have nothing to I can't fuck anymore. Like, what's the whole point? You take away a man's dick and he's just, it's over.
That's why I think it was kind of like old gangster move to like not kill him, you know, because like, man, you're gonna be way worse off if I leave you alive suffering.
That's true.
So
But that comes back to haunt him in another time when he doesn't kill somebody.
dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. As it always does, you know.
As it always does. Did you have the next scene of Gail? You take away a man's dick, you call him married. Zing. Boomer humor. Great.
Dang.
I love that. Thank you, Spencer. I think this is another one. What's your next scene? I don't want to get too far ahead.
I think I did kind of lump that next Benny scene in with that,
Yeah.
just to try to keep them like as few as possible because there's still a lot left to come.
I really like this Benny scene. And I learned more about that too. John Leguizamo really only took this role, and maybe this is part of your fun facts or my fun facts. I don't remember if I wrote it down or not, but he only took this role if he was allowed to improv most of the scene and most of the lines here. And I think he does a good job of like, trying to get in with Carlito and still be like, hey, I'm like you, like, we're the same, and like I'm just trying to come up in the world, and you're misunderstanding me, and like Carlito's not having it, man. He's just
Not at all.
not having it. And this is the scene where they're coming over to get Steffi, right? Yeah,
She's banging the lawyer
she's
in
banging Dave.
the bathroom.
He comes over to get Steffi, and he's trying to be cordial with him, and then he's like, Steffi, get the heck over here, kind of thing. And then Carlito's like, I'm not messing with this anymore. You're done here. And basically beats the shit out of Benny Blanco, kicks him out of the club. They take him to the alley. Pachanga wants to kill him. And even in the voiceover, he's like, I should have done it. But, obviously hindsight's 2020. We know at that point something's going to happen, I think. But yeah, like Pachanga has the gun out in his face, ready to put a bullet in Benny Blanco from the Bronx, and doesn't do it. He's like, let him live. But the old Carlito would have taken care of him, man.
Yeah. He's trying to be new Carlito,
He wants to be new Carlito with a new rental car lot and just live his life. Carlito's cars.
Carlito's cars. But maybe he made a mistake. I guess we'll find out.
What's the general consensus amongst the public about John Leguizamo? Do people like him? I like him a lot. That's what chat said.
Yep. I think so.
No, I like him. I mean, this is our second time seeing John Leguizamo. I feel like he was the most charming part of Super Mario Brothers when we watched that. No, he's got some really good like one man show stuff that he did for like HBO over the years. He's got like several of those that he's really good in. I think when he really, really wants to try, he kills it. Like I even think he's good in Moulin Rouge as Toulouse. Like, I don't know. I think he's really good.
I agree. I think
Maybe Spawn when he's playing clown in Spawn. You guys remember the Spawn movie?
What? Wow.
That's a
deep cut.
That is a deep cut.
I'd forgotten all about that, and especially that he was
The Pest. Yes, somebody in chat mentioned The Pest. Just watch the opening credits of The Pest and like say how much you don't like John Leguizamo. You can't do it. I, of course, am missing out on my favorite John Leguizamo performance, which is him as Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet. Oh, we got I have never seen Tu Wong Fu, but Alyssa says Tu Wong Fu, which I believe they are in drag. Him, Wesley Snipes, and Patrick Swayze are in drag the whole time. But awesome. In The Menu, I forgot about The Menu.
Oh yeah, where he was like he played himself in that.
Yeah, essentially kind of played himself. Yeah.
That was cool.
No, I like him. I think he's a good actor, and he is one of those actors that really wants to put Latino names out there and wants to get that representation out there. He's really on board with that and seeing that through. So
he seems like this is gonna sound bad, but
oh gosh,
between him and Sean Penn, like he seems like the one that would be on coke. He's just like so high energy. Like
yeah, I'm sure he was in real life. And Sean Penn definitely.
No disrespect, but like
I mean, everybody's on coke in this movie.
In this movie,
everybody is doing coke in this movie.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to say about Benny Blanco? He comes back.
He'll make another appearance. For sure. But yeah, he did not get his way, and Carlito shut that down. He was I feel like this was the most we saw like old Carlito. You know, he was just like so arrogant, like who is this little guy think he is? Like he's a nobody. I'm big fish. Like
I'm a
he
made
seemed the most
man.
like
Yeah.
gangster in this scene. To me at least, like throughout the rest of the movie. Besides when he's like yelling in the pool hall and killing
Yeah.
people. Just like but this was like casual while he's still kind of like eating his dinner, just like get out of here, like little bitch boy, like you're nothing to me.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think it's and it's a cool thing when he's saying that, you know, that Benny Blanco is like what Carlito used to be like. Like
yeah.
that is exactly what Carlito used to be like. And he like Benny Blanco even like admires Carlito. Like whenever he first comes up to him in the scene, like in the first scene, he's like, of course I know who you are. You're an assassin. You're this gangster. You're the goat of the gangsters. Like you are that guy. Everybody knows who you are. He's like, oh, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. So pay your tab.
Yeah. So pay your tab. So yeah, I love the, I don't know, that kind of flip flop of this is old and new Carlito.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like I felt like it was all old except like for that final step of like offing him, you know? It's like at the last second, new Carlito came in and like saved Benny from just getting dumpstered.
yeah.
Basically.
I had the one of my next scenes. Again, I know I always try and get everybody to get it down to 4 to 5 scenes, but there are really good scenes in this movie. But the Gail, whenever Carlito goes to see Gail dance, because he hears that she's dancing at this place, he's like, "Oh, she didn't say anything about that," and like it's on Broadway and whatever 45th, or he's just like interesting, and goes to find out that it's a strip club,
Yeah.
and I like that scene. I think it's super charming. Like she's not she's not embarrassed that he found her there. And she's very proud of what she's doing. And he's like, hey, do you? Like he's not like shaming. He doesn't shame her like I think in other movies the star would shame her for doing what she's doing or using her talents in a way that, you know, they didn't. Like she still does the ballet thing, but yeah, she's doing the other dancing thing too. So
Yeah.
she's got to make money. And I don't know. I really like that scene. I felt like it was super charming.
Yeah, I think there's like some judgy like undertones when they first start their conversation,
Yeah.
but immediately he's like, you know, I can't judge anybody. Like I was offing people left and right, like I was slinging crack all over the place, like
Yeah.
you know, like who am I? And she like kind of she brings that to the surface as well in their conversation, and he's like, yeah, I mean, you're right. Just kind of surprised, I guess, that
Yeah.
this is not the dream I thought you were chasing, but
Yeah.
I get it.
I like
Take
when the two guys come up to tell her that she did a really good job, and she goes, "Fans,
my fans.
my fans."
Yeah.
Yeah, jombers. Spencer making the note of those berjombers. And then the other third Gale scene that I had is the break the chain scene.
Yeah, that was great.
That's a great scene. Where she's locked him out of the apartment, and does she tell him to break the chain, or like
Essentially, she's like, if you want me, you got to, basically. Like I don't remember the exact words that she used, but like she intentionally left it out there and was like, if you want it bad enough, come get it.
this also features one of like my least favorite like camera choices. Like it's really weird. Like you see her reflection in the mirror. I don't love it. Because it looked really cheesy to me, but once he breaks down the door and goes in there and they start doing it, it's great. I think they have really good chemistry together. I really like them together. I think they
Yeah. I think they had some real chemistry from what I read as well.
Yeah.
So.
So, all right, I skipped. I jumped on top of you there. What else do you
No,
have?
no, that's good. You're hitting a lot of like kind of the scenes that I guess I would like have trimmed out from my list, just trying to keep it. Um, but I really did like Gale, so I'm glad you hit on those. The next big scene for me was the boat ride.
Is that before Dave's party, or that's after Dave's party?
Yeah, after the crazy party for sure, because that's
Yes.
when he like propositions him to like come with him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's what pisses Gail off, and she kind of leaves. Is that he's like, "Hey, come to this party. I need a favor," and yeah, that.
Yeah. He's like, I can't tell you here. I have to show you visuals. Like he had to show him the boat before he could talk about it.
Yeah,
It
that was
didn't make
weird.
sense. Yeah.
I just wanted to bring attention to the party, that the party existed, and that people in the background at this party are fucking insane. Like,
Crazy.
and that's in one of my funniest moments. So we'll get to that.
Oh
But
yeah. Everything that's happening in the background there is just hilarious. There's
it,
like people crawling around on the ground. There's people banging. There's people getting thrown in the pool. Like it's wild.
so that's what maybe that I don't know if that's necessarily a De Palma thing. I would have to go back and kind of watch some, but like the acting in the background, he has said, "Hey, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do this. You won't speak at all, but you're gonna do this, and you're gonna
crazy.
crawl, and you're gonna jump in the pool, and you're gonna do like you're gonna jerk this person off or whatever it is." Like it's madness in the background.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was super intentional because it kept drawing my eyes everywhere. Maybe it was supposed to make me think that I was on cocaine or something. But yeah, the boat ride. I love the boat ride. Go for it.
Yeah. So obviously Carlito agrees to join Dave on the boat trip. Context. There's another client of Dave's who is a lawyer. I don't know if you just glossed over that completely. Dave's the lawyer. Anyways, he's got another client, Tony, from this other mob family, who's like, "Hey, you got to help me break out of jail because you owe me." Okay, which we get more on that later. But basically, Dave has to pick him up. He's gonna get somebody on the inside to get him in the water. It's like a prison right on the water. So somebody's gonna help him get in the water, and then they just got to scoop him with the boat. So, yeah, but that doesn't go as planned at all. Because Dave's a psycho who wants to be a gangster. And yeah, he ends up killing Tony and his kid, who's there to help, and just leaving their dead bodies in the water.
And I think this is another good time to bring up like that Carlito truly is like he is only there because Dave like pretty much forced him to be there. He's like, "Hey, I got you out of jail, right?" Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like we're best friends, right? But like even the Tony T's son, Frankie, in this scene's like, "Is that guy your friend?" And he's like, yeah, kind of. He's like, "Cause that guy's a cockroach." Like, and you can kind of tell that like obviously Carlito doesn't want to be here, but and he knows that Dave's kind of fucking losing it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put
but he's still, he feels that, and he expresses that to Gale, like when they're fighting about it. It's like he just has this sense of like duty or obligation to like be there because of all that Dave's done for him, and because he's asking him. Like, he's like, yeah, I got to do it. So, but it turns out that he's just party to the double homicide, basically, which starts us off on the whole like end game of the movie.
Do you think this is the first person that Dave's killed? Or was it really easy for him to just bash their heads in with a crowbar? Because that's a wild first choice for like killing somebody is crowbar. I mean, it's quiet, and that's why he sent Carlito to pick up the dad while he beat the son's skull in.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I'd be
feel like,
interested.
yeah, that's a good question because I feel like most people like first time would not be like a double, you know?
Yeah.
Like
And
maybe
I also feel like Dave has this like sense of I'm a badass. Like he pulls the gun at the club. He's gonna on Benny Blanco. He bashes these guys' head. Like I feel like I think he's killed somebody, but it wasn't anybody. And obviously, we have no context or nothing for this.
right.
I'm just speculating and saying
I
anyway.
love it though.
But like I feel like he's taken out somebody that was really like much smaller than him in like stature or like whatever reputation, and it made him feel even more entitled and badass, and I think that gave him the cojones to like actually go after. I'm using all these Spanish words because our main character is Puerto Rican, of course.
Fits. Yeah, it was, or it could just be that like, being there with Carlito like really emboldened him to
Oh,
just
that's true, because that's a good point,
I'm
because
gonna
that's
show
what
up
happened
for
with
it.
his cousin,
Yeah.
except his cousin wasn't as good as Dave, I guess, or confident as Dave.
And we see that Carlito kind of has that like, I mean, he's trolling him basically when he does it, but in the club scene where he like gasses him up to start in on the Italians, like the Italian dude is
Mhm.
dancing with Gail, and he's like saying he's chirping all this stuff on the side, and then Carlito's like, "Well, say something to him about it, big man." Like, and then
Yeah,
he
and he
does, and it
does.
creates like this whole scene. So, I mean, maybe he just like with Carlito around, he's just like really feeling like he can do whatever he wants. Like he's a true gangster.
Yeah,
That's why he wanted him to come. Is like, if you're not here, bro, I'm not gonna be able to kill him. I can't do it by myself.
that's crazy. No, but that's a good point. Like, yeah, like with Carlito around, everybody is more comfortable to do the things. It's his cousin, it's Dave, um, any of those people, like Benny Blanco, even is like, hey, if I can get Carlito, then I can do so much more than what I'm currently doing. So
Yeah,
they see him as a way to elevate themselves. So I think it's a good point.
he's badass.
He's a badass. He is. They
That's how
called him
it
the judge called him an assassin at one point
goes. In court as he's
in
letting him
court.
go.
Oh yeah, I love that emotional support gangster. You can bring him
Love
on
it.
the plane with you.
No,
He has to be in a jacket though. That says that.
it has to be clearly stated.
All right, what's your next one? So we've got Tony T's been killed. And yeah.
And son Frankie too. Of course, there's another like son like that can't end the whole crime family there. There's got to be somebody for retribution. So I guess I would just lump like the rest, like the whole like climax
Whole, like,
together.
last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
kind of starting with the Carlito visiting Dave in the hospital to like the
Even
scene that we
before
saw.
that, so Dave gets put in the hospital because there's the one son that's trying to take
Oh yeah, I guess that's probably
take
right.
revenge on him, because we find out that there's that one son at this whole time, or as Dave gets put, shot or stabbed. Sorry,
Yeah,
there's too much knife work in this movie. People need to be like the guns. Like, I don't want to tell people to
personal
use
touch,
guns.
right? Or no, the strangling person. I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't know, but there's a lot of knife work in this. I don't love it. But they're gangsters. I'm not. It's a movie. I'm not. So
You're not a
whatever.
movie?
I'm not a movie. So Dave gets put up in the hospital. Carlito gets picked up by the cops, by the DA, and it's like, hey, Dave's turning on you and willing to turn on you. We think it's false, but you tell us that Dave was on that boat killing those people and you're free. Like, I'll let you go. I'll leave you be. And still Carlito says no. Like, he's not going to give him up. Gail's like, turn him in, please. Turn him in. We have this, and it might have been a good move. I don't know. I think he makes a couple mistakes in here, but it is what it is. Um, yeah.
That
So
sticks his
Dave,
code, you know.
I do love the Dave in the hospital scene. I think that's a great scene there. So go for it. So tell
Yeah.
us more about it. Sorry, I again jumped in on you.
No, you're good. So we get in there. You know, Carlito's got his plan to get out of town as quick as possible. He wants to go visit Dave in the hospital one time after the whole new information from the DA. He just wants to confront him, and then he wants to get his money and get out of town with Gail.
Mm-hmm.
But when he confronts Dave and pulls like a sly little move with his gun, takes out all the bullets because he already knows that he's suspicious that the Italians are already after him. There's like a sketchy cop in the lobby or whatever. And so he basically takes away his like opportunity to defend himself from his hospital bed, which was kind of
So good.
savage.
I love it. And the way he does it too is like, hey, don't keep that gun under your pillow. You're not going to be able to get to it fast enough. Keep it up here so that when he comes in, you're just, and I think he does that, not knowing that one, this guy's going to die no matter what. But I think he also does it to say, hey, I took the bullets out of your gun and you're fucked.
I want you to know it
That I
before
did
you
that.
die versus like not even being able to get to the gun. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
like
why so like
sinister.
yeah, big time.
Badass.
But I mean, he had it coming, honestly.
He really
Dave
did.
got a little too big for his britches, as they say.
Yeah, we see a complete like 180 of Dave from beginning to end in this movie.
Yep.
And it is from 0 to 100 real quick. So, and then this all leads to like you said, like Carlito gathering the money, getting Gail like picked up by Pachanga to go to the train station. And I think the train station scene, which is like I want to say like 20 minutes of the movie, is like the most De Palma minus like split screens. One thing that De Palma does do is like a split screen thing where we see I don't think we had that, but we definitely had some like very tense moments, a lot of camera shots from underneath. Like we get a lot of that pulse pounding. Like I was on the edge of my seat during this whole scene.
Yeah, I felt like some of it was a little better done than other parts. Like there were definitely some like parts of the chase scene that seemed a little like too slow and unrealistic, but I did like the camera work for the most part during it. I think it created like the sort of like claustrophobic feel of trying to get away.
All right, which is a better chase scene in a train station? Is it this or it was a train station versus police station in The Fugitive? Which one's better?
Ooh.
I guess that's like a government building, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's very simple. Like that's the vibes I was getting. Also, another De Palma film, The Untouchables, takes place in the train station, and that was very reminiscent.
Yeah, I think maybe I like The Fugitive better if I'm choosing between those two. I don't know though. They kind of have the same parts to them that I don't like. I don't think it's necessarily that they are too long and drawn out, but that there's parts during the length of them that are just kind of like not as good as other parts. So it kind of like ebbs and flows and doesn't keep that like heightened sense the whole time. There's just like lulls. Like for example, in this one, like one of the big lulls for me was like he goes around like the escalators at one point, and like the camera work is really cool, like showing you like, oh, he's out of view here, he's out of view here. But like there's also like other doors that he could have gotten like to and made a much faster escape that he just like, it feels like almost forced. Like we chose this path because of the camera angles versus like an actual like escape attempt. If that
Yeah,
makes
yeah, I get that. Like there was that one scene, I think he is like behind a wall and they're on the top level with him and they're like, "Oh, he's not up here. Let's go down this way."
They
I
never
think
split up. Like
they
they're
never
all
yeah.
three like
Well,
on
they
each
had
other.
this
Like
they technically split up because the massive dude
yeah.
is never with them.
But ultimately, like not save the day, but you know, spotted him. I guess.
Yeah. He saves him in the chase scene and when they're going through the train cars.
Right.
He blocks the
That's like
bad
the
guys.
worst block of all
Yeah,
time.
blocks him, and then he spots him because he's so freaking out of breath that he's not even with these guys.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite is when Carlito is lying on the escalator going down. Also weird that I know it's nitpicking at this point, but nobody else is on that escalator being like, "Hey, why is this guy lying down on the escalator
With a gun out, like
with a gun?" Just like nobody's
don't see
worried
me, don't
about
see
it
me,
at
don't
all.
see me, don't see.
Nobody's going down the escalator at all that
Yeah.
way. They're just going up.
It had a big break in the traffic, you know.
Yeah.
It happens.
But I so much blood in that too. Like whenever the big massive out of breath dude starts shooting at him, we get the big shootout there at
We
the
do.
end.
Which I like that part of it a lot. And I thought like the shootout leading up to like the snippet we saw at the beginning of the movie was
Mhm.
well done as well. Except for one little part, like when they're sprinting to the train, you can see Benny sprinting with them, like sleeves flailing because he's already got like his.
Yeah,
And
honestly I didn't even notice it.
it was just
But
like
that's what I'm talking about. Like things in the background that I'm not noticing.
he's like right beside Carlito, like sprinting with him, and I guess if you're caught up in the moment, you don't see
Yeah.
it. But I immediately just saw like the sleeves flapping, and I was like, "What is that? Who is this guy running with them all of a sudden?" And then you get like the big reveal. But that was funny to me.
Yeah. And we think that, we know, the audience knows that we've got to see this moment. We've got to see this moment at the train station where he gets shot. We don't know who shoots him. We have a good idea who shoots him. Also, the version that I'm pretty sure that you watched and the version that I watched did not have the subtitles for for that one scene,
which is tough these days, man.
Which is a one scene where we find out that Pachanga is, but I kind of liked it. Like I kind of liked not knowing what Sasso said to, and it like the camera like focuses in on Pachanga. It does that zoom on Pachanga.
Yeah.
I love that.
And he's just like working. You do get the sense from that moment that like something's off.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Yeah, I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah, and I didn't learn about it until I was doing research, and I was like, oh, they weren't just speaking, like they wouldn't just throw up the speaking Spanish thing. There actually were things in there that we were supposed to know, but we didn't have the subtitles on for whatever reason.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's tough sometimes.
It's
I'm
tough.
so reliant on them now. Jeez. Every time I
It's-
watch something without them, I struggle so much.
That's the price we pay for watching on archive.org.
Truth.
We got to donate more money, I guess. Or we could learn Spanish. I
We could learn
guess
Spanish, or we could do like a telethon to raise money for them.
That's true. We could raise money for archive.gov or org. But again, like I honestly liked that I didn't know what Sasso said to them, and we're speaking Spanish. It kind of, I don't know, kind of made it better. So we find out that Benny the Blanco. Hey, I'm Benny the Blanco from the Bronx.
I'm just Benny from the Bronx.
I'm just Benny from the Bronx, and he shoots Carlito before they can get on the train. Carlito gives Gale the money, says, get out of here, kind of thing. We find out very quickly that Pachanga is the one that turned him over and was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, it's business. I just felt like your head wasn't in it anymore. All right, let's get out of here, Benny." And then Benny shoots Pachanga. Classic.
And let's Gale live? Question mark.
I don't know if he knew that she was even like part of it. I guess.
Okay.
He got who he needed.
Okay. I guess
Unless
it
you
was
want to
just
see Carlito's Way too, where little Carlito,
Carlitito.
Carlitito, gets revenge because Gail tells him that Benny Blanco from the Bronx
Is that
killed.
real? Or are you making up a
No,
movie
no, I'm
right
making it up. We're writing our own movie right now.
now? You said something about like a straight to DVD thing earlier, so I was like, oh, that's what you're talking about? Because
No,
I'm kind of interested.
Carlitito. And that's how, and we learned that in that monologue that I was reciting from the beginning when I first got on here in my terrible Al Pacino, terrible accent. He is dying in this moment, and the last thing he sees is this like poster above that's like paradise, and like Gail is, you know, the silhouetted figure that's dancing in the background. We assume that Carlito dies, which I think he does.
Yeah.
All right. That's the movie, guys. Like that
That's
was
it.
it. Who do you think stole like who was your favorite character or stole the scenes?
I think it's got to be Sean Penn for me. I think he was so good. Especially like the transformation we see, or maybe not a transformation, but more just like a reveal of like his true character. I thought he killed it. Like, and if Tommy Lee Jones wouldn't have done so damn good in The Fugitive, he probably would have, maybe won something for this.
Yeah, I would love to see the supporting actors for the Oscars that year, just to see who else
Like
was up
Poole?
there.
Yeah,
Now I do think Tommy Lee Jones brought it in the future.
I agree. 100. You know how I feel about him.
Yeah,
He
I
deserves
love
it.
me some Tommy Lee Jones. He's
But
incredible.
that's stiff competition.
I just want to give some shout outs here because I
Let's do
agree
it.
with you. But Mike, I love Gail, and
Gail was great.
I think Benny Blanco is a great character for the movie.
Agreed.
So,
If he would, I mean, it's just not enough screen time, you know?
I agree, and
I
that's
needed
why
more.
I went towards Gail. I was like,
Yeah.
Gail was really good with Carlito, so I wanted to.
Yeah, that like doorway foreplay thing was hot, man.
That was hot.
It was
It was sexy. I love some sex.
I love
I love some. That's gonna go in the next intro.
love
I love some sex.
What's up, Butters? I love some sex.
All right, some quotes. I got. I didn't pull a bunch of quotes, but yeah, there are some really good ones in here. So
Yeah, that was a lot. You want me to start? Or you?
yeah,
going?
go. You throw one out there. I'll go with
You? Okay. I got some random ones in here. I got one like kind of longer one that I felt like was like really powerful. So I'll save that one. But the first one I wrote down was when they were Carlito and Dave were at like the club the first time. And the girl, when they're both dancing with their girls or whatever, but they're like chatting each other up, and she's like, "You dancing with me or you dancing with him?"
Oh, I love that. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my first LOL moment, I think. All right, you.
I'm gonna go ahead and say my favorite line in the whole movie,
it.
which is
Adios, counselor.
which is just the voiceover as he's dumping the bullets into a trash can as he sealed Dave's fate.
Adios, counselor.
Perfect.
Like he is so, I love it. I almost thought it was funny. I sent this to Spencer earlier in the week where I said, "Bye-bye, counselor," which I thought would have been even better. Bye-bye, counselor.
Counselor. I like them both.
All right,
The
what's another
counselor
one you
like
got?
makes it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, early on between Carlito and Dave, he's talking about doing a favor for him. He's like, "Favor gonna kill you faster than a bullet."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah,
And it does.
That's kind of true. Like every mob movie you see, it's like, just do me this one favor. That's like, it always turns into something.
Yes, I think that I don't know. There's so like I think this is a really well written movie.
I agree.
It feels like I don't know if this is a normal way to think of it, but it feels like a play. And I know I mentioned like the Chekhov and the gun and all that stuff, but it felt like a play in the way that they set up all these things and
Yeah.
foreshadowing, just telling a story. It did. I could see Jason Schwartzman's character in Rushmore putting this as a play on at his school. So only a few people get that. So if you can't see the angles no more, you're in trouble.
That's a good one. That was one of mine too.
Yep. All right.
You think you're big time? You're gonna die fucking big time.
Love that. Love that. Hey, remember me, Benny Blanco from the Bronx? And that's what he says before he shoots him. I love that.
Yeah, it really does. All I could hear was I'm just Benny from the Bronx. Like,
Benny
just
from the
have
Bronx.
a little.
Now I have a lot.
Benny talking about Carlito at one point. Like, I think it's during their first scene together. He's talking just kind of out loud about Carlito, and he's like, he's the fucking JP Morgan of the smack business.
I've got one where after Carlito has broken the chain and they start fucking, Gail says, "Charlie, where's my cheesecake?"
Yes, that's one of my top ones from the whole thing, because it was he was talking all this game about having cheesecake for her and her not liking cheesecake, and then it's just like,
Charlie, where's my cheesecake?
Yeah, love that one. Let's see. Another short one I've got is from Pachanga. This one I don't know why this sounds bad, but when people are like disrespecting like hurt or dead people, it really like gets me, makes me laugh. So Pachanga, like after they kick Benny down the stairs at that point, he's like going down the stairs after him. He's like, "Hey Benny, que paso?" Just like taunting him, and I'd laugh so hard when he was doing that.
The only other one I had written down as a big one, and maybe it's your big one too, but I'll go ahead and read.
Do it.
This is when Dave and Carlito are having a conversation. I think toward the end of the movie, but I think it might be in the hospital scene. But he says, "Fuck you and your self-righteous code of the goddamn streets. Did it pull you out of a 30-year stint in only 5 years? No, it didn't. I did. Did it get you acquitted 4 fucking times? No, it didn't. I did. So fuck you. Fuck the streets. Your whole goddamn world is this big, and there's only one rule: you save your own ass." I love that. And that is Dave. That is the character of Dave, is like, I'm fucking awesome, and I'm gonna save my own ass.
Yeah. I had, that's not my long one, but I really liked that one. I did have like the first part of that, the self-righteous code, just the little the opener, I guess, if you will. My long one was earlier in the movie when he's talking about like getting out, and like I think it was right before he met Gail for the first time. He says, Carlito says, "But then you get out, everybody's got a different face than you remember. Maybe you do too. You pray for one face that didn't change, one face that still knows you, looks at you the same way it always did." And I was like, ooh.
That's so like good.
Intense, yeah.
Yeah. You have any more little ones?
That's it.
That's it. That's all I have for you too. If you watch this in the chat, and you have a line that we didn't get to, please put it in the chat and we will hit us up. All right. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill of the movie. I had 2 in this one. I had biggest laugh and thrill. So
same.
Do you have any? Okay.
I didn't cry.
I did not cry in this movie. I didn't get scared in this movie. I was thrilled though.
Thrilled.
I saved this. My biggest laugh is from Dave's party, and it's a line, and I'll go through the line reading. And Dave says, "Hey, Louie, your fucking chick's giving you a hand job right in front of everybody. I got guests here, for Christ's sake. People are eating." And Louie, while getting said hand jobs, like, "Take it easy, Dave.
Take it easy."
And Dave replies, "No, you take it easy. You got any Mariners? You want to fuck her? You fuck her like a normal human being. Take her in the bedroom." I was dying when I watched that. It was so fucking good. Oh my gosh. What's your
love that.
biggest?
I think my biggest laugh of the whole movie was when Dave was piping up on the Italians, like for Gail dancing with that Italian guy, like starting with the racial slur, and
Yeah.
then it just like from there was just so funny, like how he was like pretending like he was, you know, hard ass, and like all these Italians are like stepping up from their tables, and like Carlito's like, whoa, 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 sit down, bro.
Yeah.
You're like you're about to get your ass beat, and I'm gonna watch it if you don't sit down.
That was
So,
good.
yeah, I really like that.
The thrill I had, biggest thrill, was the chase scene. I think that is,
Okay.
I think that was the most, like, especially on the train specifically, when he's going, like, I don't know what it is about train chase scenes, but like when they're going from car to car, I don't know. I really love that, and I think that's really intense. Even though I know what the outcome's going to be, that fat guy really threw me off though, so I wasn't sure what his role in that chase scene was going to be. So it kept me on my toes.
And then you see it.
And then you see it. He's just fat.
Yeah, it's like it was kind of one of those, you knew he was gonna do something because they keep like cutting back to him, just like behind and like wheezing. So it's like, okay, what's gonna come from this? So it was
fucking
delivered
love
well.
What's
Biggest
your,
thrill for me, which we've already talked about, was the pool hall, like that
Oh
whole
yeah,
setup
that's
and
that's
shootout.
second for me.
I
So
really liked.
that made him seem so scary. Than just fat people are funny. It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. Okay, what was your most what the fuck ridiculous moment?
I think I would put that like the party scene,
Okay,
like
yeah,
just kind of like with everything that was going on, and
in the
then like
background.
Steffi just like rolled up to Carlito and was like, "Hey, how come you never tried to fuck me?" And it's just like the whole thing just like started
Steffi.
so absurd.
Steffi just she's firing on all cylinders throughout
Yeah,
this movie.
she's
Like, she's great whenever she pops up. Wow, you dancing with me? You dancing with her?
so yeah, and it was just like the whole premise was like, I need visuals for like the proposition, and it was just to like point at his boat basically. So it was just
Yeah.
like the whole thing was just like, what are y'all doing?
And then I'll tack on top of that. Mine was the escape. The entire escape for this Tony T is just ridiculous because like he's got this he's already got something wrong with him, right? Like Tony T's like coughing and wheezing
Yeah,
in
big
prison.
cough.
Yeah, he's dying essentially in prison, and he makes an escape where he has to swim out to this buoy. Like, come on, that guy's not.
And they
making
like
it.
hinted at it. They were like, who said?
Carlito, I'm pretty sure, is like, that's not gonna fucking work.
Somebody was like, he's dead. Like he's never gonna make it to this buoy.
Yeah.
100 yards? No way. And when you see him like clinging to the buoy for dear life, it's like, how did you get here, bro?
So desperate for it. So desperate
Yeah.
for it.
So.
All right. Best music moment in the movie.
I mean, there was a lot of bangers, like the classic, like disco era. I feel
I was
like
about to say it's a
bangers.
good soundtrack, good disco era. That's what I was going to point. We got Lady Marmalade in there. We've got what was the other one that? Oh, Don't Rock the Boat. Don't rock the boat. Don't
You are so beautiful.
That is my best music moment in the
Comes
whole
in a
movie.
couple times, right? Like
Yeah.
the sex scene and the end credits.
Yeah.
I didn't pick any of those. I just said like the opening credits, like when they're like doing the black and white, it was like a lot of really emotional strings like going on. Like that was my favorite music.
Yeah. No, I love a good drop, a needle drop with "You Are So Beautiful," and then them just fucking over top of it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Good. All right, I got two for you on this next one. It's a surprise. So, most dateable. I'm
Let's
gonna
do
go
it.
ahead. Gail or Steffi?
Dateable.
Yeah,
Keyword. Okay. It's Gail. I
it's
think
definitely Gail.
it's Gail, right?
I just wanted to put that question out there. I know Spencer was a real big fan of Steffi.
I
Man loves him some
Steffi's
Steffi.
great, but dateable, you know, flingable, probably Steph. I think that's Steffi, but I don't know about commitment wise.
Yeah, she's not much of a commitment type.
She's getting around. And
Gail is marriage material Steffi to date. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that would mean Steffi's most stable. I don't know, man.
Oh, okay. I don't
I
know.
don't know if I
But
agree
that
with
wasn't
that.
even my fuck Mary kill. My fuck
All right,
Mary kill.
let's dive in there then.
She belongs to the club.
Exactly.
She
Perfect.
doesn't belong to one man. She belongs to the club. All right. Pachinga, David Kleinfeld, or Benny Blanco.
Ooh. Pachanga kill. Benny F. Wait. That leaves me with Kleinfeld Mary. I can't marry Dave. No.
He's a
He's too
lawyer.
sleazy. I gotta marry Benny then? The
Dave's a
up and
lawyer. He's
coming?
rich.
Ambitious? Yeah. Okay. I guess that's what I'm going. I don't think Pachanga. I don't like Pachanga.
You don't
He's
like
like
Pachinga?
I like Louis Guzman. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like Pachanga. So yeah, it's gonna be Mary Benny, kill Pachanga, F
Dave.
Ugh.
He's good. That's what
I'm
chat
not-
says. They say Dave's good in bed. That's what Steffi said. So
I mean, Steffi. Yeah.
she doesn't lie.
Why
No,
would she? She's not
I-
like giving tips or anything, right?
I think I flip Benny and Dave. You
Okay.
know, I'm definitely effing Benny. Seems like a good time.
Yeah.
He's
That
he's
was my
that
instinct,
rambunctious little scamp,
Yeah.
and he's not dead. The other two are dead, so that might have.
Oh,
something.
well, that's great.
Yeah. So Dave, I'm
Marry
gonna
one
get
of
all his
them, get the money,
Yeah.
live happily ever after.
But yeah, I'm gonna kill Pachinga too.
Yeah, I can't.
All right, who gave the best performance? I think we're both on board on the same one
Yeah.
here.
I really think Sean Penn
Surprised me.
Yeah. When I first saw him with that hair, I was shocked and thinking he was going to be laughable, but quite the opposite.
No, surprised the hell out of me. I think I'm used to more like Mystic River Sean Penn, like brooding, sad role, 21 grams Sean Penn, and I'm not used to him actually acting, I guess. So I do think that Sean Penn gave the better performance here. The best performance out of them all. Gail close second. I think she was really good. And Al Pacino, I think when he's not trying to like just overdo that accent, he's killing it. He's really good. So, all right, 1993 recast or 2023 recast. I did both. So
okay, good. I'm really in the course of the year, I've noticed I'm really terrible at coming up with 93s.
They're very few and far between because obviously in 1993 they got it right for the most part. You think about that.
I think it's really well cast. So I don't have anything for 93. So I'll let you go ahead with your 93.
All right. Let me cook here. Since there are since Al Pacino is not Puerto Rican, I felt like I needed to go for a Puerto Rican actor, and I went with Raul Julia for Carlito, who is most famous for playing Gomez Adams or in the Addams Family. He's an actual Puerto Rican actor here, and I think he would have been good. He's around the same age. He does unfortunately pass away in the next year from cancer, but Raul Julia, I feel like he's underappreciated. I would like to see him in an edgier role like Carlito as opposed to Gomez Adams, which is a much more comedic role. So I think this would have been a good fit for him. Gail in 1993. I think she reminds me so much of Elizabeth Shue. And I love Elizabeth Shue. And this would have been around, I mean, they probably would have been around the same age here. She looks like Elizabeth Shue. I think Penelope Ann Miller has probably got the dancing background, and why she was cast in this film is because she's a dancer, like an actual dancer. But they seem very similar, and I think Elizabeth Shue could have done a good job too. I don't really want to replace them, but that's good. For David, I thought Albert Brooks might be a good actor for this. Albert Brooks, the voice of Nemo's dad, Marlin, in Finding Nemo, but also a very funny comedic actor. The only reason why, one, Jewish, so picking him there, trying to keep everybody in the
And then, yeah.
where they need to be there. But Albert Brooks in Drive, the movie Drive, is like what's his name's boss? Ryan Gosling's boss in Drive.
Okay.
He's the one that like tells him to do all the things that he does. He's really evil and everything. And I feel like Albert Brooks would be a good replacement there for David there. So, all right, but 2023, go for it.
2023. I really, and this is maybe not as good of a pick as the original casting, but because I think he would be maybe a little bit too old. But I said Bob Odenkirk for Kleinfeld.
Okay.
Just based on the kind of the Better Call Saul, like sleazy, but maybe he would be a little bit too like funny for that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think you gotta, and you'll probably have the perfect spot, but I think you gotta bring like Guzman back for some role, right?
Keep him as Pachanga.
Keep
I
him.
love it. Yeah.
I mean, he could work, I guess. And then again,
Maybe
not
he
sure
could
about
be
the age.
Sasso.
Huh?
Maybe he could be Sasso.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. For Sasso, perfect. And then I think Benicio del Toro jumped out at me so much to put in here somewhere.
That's
I don't
what
know,
had.
but he's kind of. Is he too old? He's pretty old now, right? Isn't he like 60 or something?
I don't know
maybe not
how
60
old.
yet.
I don't know how old Benicio is. I did
Maybe
have
like
him
50.
down for Carlito though. I think he's 56 years old.
56. Is that too old? I don't know.
I don't know, but there's.
On
I
the
mean,
other side. I'm doing it. And we're sticking him in there. He's Carlito.
He's actually Puerto Rican.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's why I said him. Yeah. I specifically was like, I'm seeking out Puerto Rican actors, and Benicio del Toro is perfect for that. So yeah, that's who I picked.
Cool.
Somebody said Vigo in the same role.
I mean,
killing
sure,
me.
why not? Make him do it again.
Please, just keep him. Yes,
Yeah.
Vigo's the greatest. He's the greatest Puerto Rican ever. Yeah. We could put Lin-Manuel Miranda in the role of Carlito. I think that would be great. He could just rap his way through the movie.
I didn't have anybody else. No, nothing else really jumped out at me.
So yeah, I had Benicio del Toro as Carlito. Julianne Hough as Gail. So Julianne Hough, she's most famous for being a dancer. She was in the newest Flashdance movie, Footloose movie. So she can act maybe a little bit, but I thought she's in her 30s. She's blonde like Gail. She's a dancer. Let her dance. Let her act. Let's see what happens. And, going with that one. And then I picked, because of how crazy he is, Shia LaBeouf as Dave.
Love it. I love it.
I think that Shia LaBeouf would nail it. Just kill it.
That's a good one.
And Spencer just said that Gabby Carter as Gail. Is Gabby Carter the are you talking about the adult film star Gabby Carter?
I don't know who Gabby Carter is.
I was pretty sure that was an adult film star, and I'm pretty sure that's who he's talking about. Yeah. And he says damn well who she is. That's who I thought it was. I was just making sure. Yeah, so that's my recasting. I don't know. Don't try and put that on me. Okay. All right, fun facts about this movie. I'm going to start before you go in. This movie has a body count of 14. 14 deaths.
I've got a count as well.
Okay.
Was a fun fact. 139 F-bombs.
Impressive.
Impressive.
Didn't even faze me though. I didn't even think about it.
Sometimes there were certain moments where I felt like it was a lot. That's my.
That's Joseph's body count too. Is a funny line. Oh my gosh! All right, give me another one.
We kind of hinted at it earlier, but Al Pacino and Penelope did have like a thing, like a romance, an actual real life romance, which I feel like sometimes you can tell from like the on screen chemistry. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like they had really good chemistry.
and when I read that, it didn't really surprise me. What did surprise me is that he was apparently with someone else at the time and had to kind of like ghost her. And went to the premiere of the movie with the other girl and not Penelope, which was
Eek.
yikes. So yeah, love the drama, love the tea.
Yeah, love it. Give me some tea.
Go, you go.
All right. John Leguizamo turned down the part of Benny Blanco 4 times. He finally took the role after Brian De Palma allowed Leguizamo to improvise. So I kind of hinted on that earlier, but
Nice.
yeah, it was offered to him 4 times. They really wanted Leguizamo for this.
He just wanted to be known for Super Mario Brothers only.
I
this
think
year.
so. I think he was like, I'm better than this movie. I'm better than Carlito's Way. I'm Luigi, god damn it.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Go.
Let's see. Oh, you know me, I big Godfather person. So the hospital at the end where Dave is the same one that Vito's Corleone is taken to. So
I love that. That's a
Love
good
that.
one. I don't know why this is. I wrote this down mostly because I think it's the dumbest thing that an actor could have done. Al Pacino played professional pool in Nevada for a month to prepare for his pool playing scene. A month to do nothing. in
that
scene.
sounds like a vacation, is what that.
Yeah.
That's an excuse to go. Was it Vegas?
It had to be, right?
Had to be, right? That's an excuse to spend.
He
a month
doesn't
in
even
Vegas.
play any pool.
He just hits him in the face with the cue ball, right?
That's
Isn't
it.
that the only thing he does?
Yeah.
What's
It made me. I was just like, "Damn you, Pacino! You method acting fuck."
I gotta go learn up real quick. I'll be back in a month, boys.
Nevada.
I mean, if you're at that level and you can get away with it, I would do it.
Yeah, you're Al
100.
Pacino. You can get away with anything at that point.
Yeah.
93. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What else you got?
The only other thing in my kind of like uncertain feelings about the chase scene, how it kind of like wasn't all great for me. Apparently, it took them like months to film that chase scene. Because
Is that what I read? Where it was like it was a completely different season, like it was
Yes.
winter at one point. And
started in winter with him wearing full black, and then once it continued into the summer months, they had to like break it up so much because he was just like
Sweating.
dying in this full black suit. So yeah,
incredible.
That's why, after I read that, I was like, okay, maybe there's like a little continuity problems that came up from that. I don't know.
I got a couple more. The name of Carlito's nightclub is El Paraíso, which is the same name as the food stand that Pacino's character operated in Scarface.
Nice.
Alan Dershowitz, who is a famous lawyer, threatened a lawsuit against the filmmakers because he felt that David Kleinfeld was based on him. That suit got dropped. And then when Carlito meets with Lalin or whatever, the snitch, Backstabbers by the OJs is playing in the background. So just a little fun little thing there. So, all right. I figure we both kind of like this movie. So what are some negative things that you can say about this movie? You ain't all that.
You ain't all that. I mean, I don't want to keep harping on the chase scene, but especially because you seem to like it just fine, and
Hey,
didn't
no,
like
if
it
you
as
don't
much.
like it, you don't like it.
That's what it is. It did kind of I'm glad you mentioned The Fugitive, because I felt the same way at parts of that chase scene. Like, and maybe it is just the length. I don't know. Maybe it's hard to do a long chase scene like that where it's a lot of like foot. But I mean, El Mariachi did it. You know, they
Yeah,
just kept filming the same street over and over again, and it's easy.
yeah. I don't
Shout
know.
out.
Shout out to El
Anyway,
Mariachi. We haven't talked about that movie in a
throwback.
while.
um, I mean, not much else bad to say for me.
Yeah.
I thought the casting was superb, and okay. Side note, but was one of those goons at the end Gandolfini?
No.
I couldn't find any, but he looked a lot like him, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Not as much as I not
probably
okay.
not as much as you
Anyways,
think,
okay.
but
Well, I could have swore up and down like
you're just stuck on True Romance, Gandolfini.
no, but maybe. Anyways,
I don't know. My big griefs are with the accent, with
yeah,
Pacino's accent, and he loses it like most of the time. Like when he's actually in the movie, he loses it a lot of time. But then like some voiceover, yeah, and some of the voiceover is really the thing. So those are my big complaints. Accent,
the
voiceover,
accent was
also.
pretty.
And fucking Vigo Mortensen, what is going? I mean, at this
It was
point in Vigo's
exceptional.
career, he's taking anything he can get.
Yeah,
I just, yeah, that one took me for a loop. I was lying.
I wonder if that's like, is that a bit that is like in the original like source material that they just brought in, or did they just throw in something weird? I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? All right. Like a fine wine and dish, if you could pair this with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
Okay, we might have some overlap here.
Probably.
I've got four.
I've got 4 as well.
Okay, I've got two that are kind of like the whole like I just got to do one last job to get out
Yeah.
type feel. Heat
Oh,
and
Heat. Yeah.
The
I didn't.
Town.
Why I didn't even think of Heat.
Yeah, Heat and The Town were my two that kind of had those vibes.
Okay. I went with another Michael Mann movie called Thief. It's from like
I knew you were gonna do
I
that.
love Thief. I think Thief is so good. Everybody should watch Thief.
Love it.
It's so freaking good. But it gives that same thing, especially you got this like blonde woman that they want to like raise this child with and go to paradise with. Now Thief ends a little bit differently than this movie does, but that one was like every inch of this I was like, Thief, this is such a Thief movie.
I knew, yeah,
Yeah,
I
Thief.
knew that was gonna be on your list because I thought about that too.
And then with the same kind of vein, I had already kind of mentioned Drive earlier with Ryan Gosling and Carey Mulligan, very similar thing, like one last job. And then that brought me to thinking about Baby Driver.
Baby Driver, nice.
Yeah, so
I like that.
Baby Driver. And then finally, what's playing on in the background is probably one of the closest ones of like, I mean, other than like Godfather 3 or something, where it's like I try to get out and they pull me back in kind of thing. But Unforgiven, which came out, I think in maybe the year before this one came out, just about it's a Western about a guy from that hasn't been, killing people for a while, and Clint Eastwood, and then he gets brought back into this world. It's very Unforgiven-esque to me. So those are my
Nice.
4. What else did you have?
My other two, so just we've already talked about or briefly mentioned The Untouchables, like that just jumped in my head immediately.
Mhm.
Like De Palma Gangster, which I think is a lot better than Scarface. But,
I agree. I think this movie is so much better than Scarface.
yeah. And then my other one was just kind of like a character that comes back for the kind of like last laugh at the end that they kind of want you to forget about vibes. The Departed.
Okay, yeah. No, that's good. That is
So-
very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I didn't even think about that. That's really good. The Departed. Yeah. I love it. All right. What would you give this rewatchability?
I mean, I'd put it right, slightly over, I guess, like mid range. I would say 3.5. Like,
Yeah, I gave it a 4.
it's like, it's got fine rewatchability. Like, there's not like a lot of mystery because of how it starts out. Like he's gonna die. So
Yeah.
the only big reveal is like who kills him. So other than that, like it's got like everything you want like
Yeah.
to watch again. So
I want to see this movie on HBO though. I don't want to see this on like TNT or something. Because I gotta get those Gale dance scenes in, baby.
you gotta see the nudes.
Gotta see the nudes. Where's my cheesecake? Is what I'm saying.
Where's my cheesecake? Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Overall star rating,
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4 as well. I think this is a really solid movie,
Yeah.
minus a couple little flaws. But yeah, I was really surprised by this movie and I loved it. We've had some good weeks recently.
Yeah, we're getting into
We're-
some
we're-
good ones, man.
Yeah, we're about to get into some really, really good ones. So we're getting into some Oscar territory now. So I'm looking forward to it. But
Okay.
one thing I want to say is thank you for joining me, as always. And have you watched anything recently that you would recommend to people?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah.
I want to first and foremost say yesterday was Back to the Future Day, so if you haven't done your annual viewing, make sure you get on that, all you people out there. I finally watched Pearl after seeing X in theaters way back when, and I think I liked it better than X. So recommend that if you're a horror person.
What did you think of the monologue scene
It was
in
great.
Pearl? Oh my God.
She's incredible.
She was
And
so good.
and like when the face she holds during like the ending credits too, like that kind of like
Like the
uncertain fake
strained
smile,
smile.
just like
Yeah.
strained. Yeah, she's incredible.
That monologue alone, for anybody that watches Pearl or any of these movies, like that monologue alone, I think Mia Goth should have been nominated for an Oscar for that. She's incredible. That was great.
Yeah, highly recommend, especially given the season. I did get to go see Under the Skin in theater for the first time ever. I missed that back in the original release dates. That's maybe not for everybody. It's very quiet, slow burn
Mm-hmm.
exploration of humanity from the view of not a human. But it was great.
That's a really
Other
good way to
than
put that.
an old man in the theater fell asleep right in front of me and was snoring. Anyways, the other thing I would like to recommend is there's a new animated series on HBO with the first 3 episodes came out on Thursday called Scavenger's Reign.
Scavenger's Reign. Okay.
It's very good. The first 3 episodes have set things up for a pretty wild season. They're like on this crazy planet with all this wildlife and stuff and trying to figure out how they're gonna escape and or continue the human race. So yeah,
Okay. Very cool.
very weird.
Nice.
But it's good.
Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. Speaking of animated, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but Crapopolis. It's Dan Harmon's new cartoon show about like an ancient Greek place. It's you can watch him on Hulu. I think it's really funny. There's only like 3 or 4 episodes out, but they make me laugh pretty consistently. It's got Matt Berry in it, Hannah Waddingham, Richard Iadai, or however you say his name, from the IT Crowd is like the main guy in it. It's really good. I laugh a lot through it. So that's like the only series that I've watched recently. But you know me, I've been doing my 31 days of horror. I found a couple good ones in there. I found
Nice.
some duds too, but I would love to hear other people's takes on them. I watched the Hulu original called No One Will Save You, which is like an hour-and-a-half silent movie, essentially, dealing with like an alien invasion and an alien invading this, like, or aliens terrorizing this one girl. I thought it was really good. Speaking of another streamer's original content, Totally Killer on Amazon Prime came out as like a Back to the Future Scream comedy 80s. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time, and I think that's a good one for people who aren't a fan of scary movies but like comedies. It's like Heathers too is in there a little bit. So yeah, I definitely want to recommend that. And then The Addiction, which is by Abel Ferrara. It's like this black and white 1995 they use like vampirism as a correlation to like heroin addiction. And that was actually really, really good. I was kind of surprised by that movie. And then finally, I'll end on one or two more, sorry, because I actually did go to the theater this week to see a movie.
Did you see it?
I did not see Flowers of the or Killers of the Flower Moon. Sorry, still not seen it yet, but I want to very bad. It is. But I watched Dix the Musical, which is A24's first musical.
Yeah.
It is something to behold. If you were a fan of the movie Bottoms, which I think I recommended earlier this year, Dix is just as outrageous and gay as that movie. So
Dix and Bottoms.
Dix and Bottoms, definitely it's a good year for some cinema, definitely. So like Nathan Lane and Megan Mullally probably doing the most foul things in their careers. Definitely go see that if you're into musicals. It's hilarious. But I did see this really surprising scary movie, and I think you would like it especially. It's called Southbound, and it is basically like a vignette film. So there are like 5 different stories that happen in Southbound, kind of like a creep show or trick or treat style movie, but they all take place on this highway, and there's 5 different stories. Some of the stories are better than the others, very VHS too, if you've ever seen any of the VHS films. But a couple of the known directors, so the guys that took over the Scream franchise, those directors, they're a big part of this film, and I think this film is kind of what led to them getting Scream in the Scream franchise. So really good. There's some bad CGI, but it's low budget. And I think some of the stories are really, really good. Some Black Mirror-esque things in there too. But it's called Southbound. So check that out.
Where was that on?
That was on, I think, Tubi, probably.
Tubi. Okay.
There's a lot of stuff on Tubi. A lot of scary movies on Tubi, a lot of bad stuff on Tubi too. So somebody in the chat, Spencer said, watch The Conference. It's a Swedish film. So I did want to give acknowledgement of that movie as well. But next week's movie is going to be a good one. We'll have a different guest host on next week. We'll be watching the movie The Piano. It is currently streaming on VOD, so anywhere that you get your videos, Amazon, Apple, whatever you want, you can get it off there and rent it. I'm going to look in some other places for it, which is not necessarily the worst thing. I've also got it on VHS, so we can watch it if you come over. So on my tiny 19 or
Party at
smaller
Quatey's.
party at Quatey's house. So come on over. We'll watch the VHS of The Piano, and we'll talk about some good movies. Also, one thing I did want to mention is we're coming up on the end of the year. It's October. We've got a couple months left. We're going to start calculating all of these, these movies that we watched. And I'm going to start giving, because we're going to have an award show at the end of this year. And in the style of like yearbook superlatives. So the class of 1993, we're going to hand out some awards for some of these movies, and I'm starting to work on that. So if you're not as familiar with some of the movies that we watched from 1993 or need to go back, the list is on my Letterboxd. It is CD Waits. You can go there and look at the list of the 1993 movies and get caught up so you can watch The Piano with us next week. So we should have all the guests on for that award show, and so we'll see how that goes. But other than that, again, thank you, Joe. It's always a pleasure talking movies with you. I love talking with you, period. So we should do it again soon. So for everybody else out there, it was great talking to you. Watch The Piano. Talk with us next week. This has been 52/1993 talking about Carlito's Way. We'll see you next week talking about The Piano. Have a good